Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be talking about some really key factors that affect whether employees change their behaviour or not. This can be applied to people in general, but this is more about in the working environment, the things you want to look at if you're really trying to make that behavioural change stick and it's not happening. There's 4 key things you need to look at. This is really based in psychological understanding. My background as a psychologist, this is absolutely the critical elements in terms of what really makes people behave differently or why they choose not to adopt things and why change doesn't stick. So the 4 areas are ability, willingness, value and confidence. So I'll talk quickly through each one. So ability, pretty obvious. This is all about, do they have the correct knowledge, skills, understanding, experience to be able to do the behaviour change that you've asked them to do, or to be able to adopt new ways of thinking or working. So you've really got to look at, it's not just the skills that they have. Do they have the right knowledge? Has the training been effective? Are people saying they understand when they actually don't? And do they have the other things in place that will allow them, so the right technology, the right support mechanisms, removing things that are representative of old ways of working to stop them from going back to doing things in the old way. So really making sure that that ability box is fully ticked and you know that they're absolutely able to do this behaviour change. The next part then, if they're still not doing it, is the willingness factor, which gets a bit more tricky. So this is really then about they're able, but if they're not willing, they're just not choosing to do it. Why are they not choosing to do it? And with there you can unpick several things. Is this because ultimately, from an attitude perspective, they just don't feel that this is going to have, benefit for them? They don't feel that this is something they really need to do. The impetus isn't really there, and they're not necessarily seeing others performing this behaviour as well or adopting it as well. So really looking at what is it around the mindset, willingness piece. Why are they not choosing to do this? Or is it just because of ease, because of effort, because they can't be bothered, they don't want to take the time to have to put themselves through doing things differently, whatever it might be. And then you've got to unpick the ways that you can make that easier for them. The third one then is value, and this is linked to willingness, but it's a bit different because this is where you've really got to get into. They might be able, they understand exactly how to do it, they've got the skills, knowledge, they're willing, as in they are willing to make the change. It's not a huge amount of effort. They're willing to adopt these new behaviours, but they're just not doing it to the real extent you want, because in fact they don't really see the value of what's in it for them. And the really important factor here is to place yourself in the shoes of the different populations, people, individuals, to understand what's really in it for them here. How do we turn this around and make this easy, beneficial, valuable for people so that they want to adopt this behaviour? We've got to find a way to look at that angle. And one of the biggest factors here is definitely leadership and role modelling the behaviours. If you're in your business, you've got a big drive for new behaviours and things that need to be different. But ultimately, there's messaging around it, but ultimately, employees are looking around at others, leaders, peers, and they're not seeing this behaviour demonstrated. They're not hearing the messages that back up why this is of real value and importance and what the benefit is. So you've got to make sure that value piece keeps being reinforced. You've got the right influencers and leaders reinforcing the value, the benefit for people, and that they've really understood it and you've painted that picture for them. And then the 4th one is confidence. And this is really about they're able, they're willing, they see the value, leaders are doing it, they get what's in it for them, they've understood the benefits, but they've just not quite got the right space and time and kind of support mechanisms, feedback mechanisms to build their confidence in really doing it. So this might be where actually people are doing it, but you've kind of rushed to the conclusion potentially that actually they're not, this isn't going to work. And then you've just got to give it time. You've got to give people the opportunity to kind of test new behaviours out and learn from mistakes and get that support and feedback over a period of time so that they can grow in their confidence in doing whatever it is that you want them to have developed and changed. Because some things are very easy, it's just push this button instead of this or whatever, it's very process driven. But other things, it's much more a new way of approaching their work, a new kind of frame around how we position ourselves in the market, how we treat our employees, things that are more kind of based on kind of cultural values and real behavioural change. You've got to give people time to build their confidence, and you've got to use lots of reinforcing mechanisms over that time to give them the feedback, to show them that they've done this differently and here's the benefit, here's the value, keep doing it, here's the longer term goals that we're trying to get to. For more help with anything around changing behaviour at work, the broader kind of change agenda at work and transformation at work, please visit changeproud.com for lots of help and guidance to help you with this matter. Thanks for watching.